A fresh start. Re-energizing your vocation with Salesian Principles. Today, my dear friends, we reflect on something every religious heart understands. The need for a fresh start, a reawakening of the fire that first drew us to our vocation. Religious life is beautiful, yes, but it is also demanding. The routines, the challenges, the inner struggles, these can slowly drain our enthusiasm. And so the question arises, how do we renew our zeal? How do we re energize our vocation? For this, we turn to the gentle wisdom of St. Francis de Sales, whose Salesian spirituality offers practical and deeply human ways to rediscover joy, balance, and purpose in religious life. The first point for our reflection today, recognizing the lulls in religious life. Before we speak about renewal, let us acknowledge something very real. Every religious person experiences low moments. This is not failure, it is simply being human. Routine can become monotony. The same prayers, the same work, the same interactions, slowly they can lose freshness if we do not engage them intentionally. Conflicts can drain energy. Even in the holiest communities, misunderstandings can happen. If unresolved, they weigh down the heart. Personal struggles can also take a toll. Our emotions, wounds, and weakness don't disappear when we enter religious life. If we ignore them, they quietly undermine our joy. External pressures can also discourage us. Changes in the church, shrinking numbers, financial pressures, shifting social attitudes, these can unsettle our sense of mission. When these realities accumulate, the vocation that once felt bright can begin to feel heavy. And that is precisely where Salesian spirituality becomes medicine. The second point for reflection today, Salesian spirituality, a path of renewal. St. Francis de Sales offers us not theories but a way of living, gentle, practical, and deeply encouraging. His principles bring us back to the heart of our vocation. First of all, love and gentleness, the heart of renewal. St. Francis de Sales insists that love is the foundation of the Christian life and gentleness is its most effective expression. First, gentleness with ourselves. Many religious suffer from harsh self criticism. We see our mistakes and immediately conclude, I am failing. But Salesian spirituality teaches us to treat ourselves with the same compassion we would give to a dear friend. Renewal begins when we stop fighting ourselves and start encouraging ourselves. Secondly, gentleness in community. Conflicts do not disappear by force, they soften through listening, empathy, and forgiveness. A gentle word or a patient silence can rebuild trust far more effectively than stern correction. Gentleness does not weaken us, it strengthens our relationships. Secondly, the little virtues that transform everyday life. St. Francis de Sales tells us holiness is not found in extraordinary acts, but in small, consistent virtues patience, kindness, humility, cheerfulness. These little gestures have enormous power. They turn ordinary tasks into meaningful offerings. They create a warm and welcoming atmosphere in community. They help us rediscover joy in simple things. When a community practices little virtues, the whole house brightens. Thirdly, self-knowledge and acceptance. Salesian spirituality asks us to truly know ourselves, our temperament, strengths, weaknesses, and limits. Why? Because self knowledge frees us from unrealistic expectations. St. Francis de Sales teaches holiness is not perfection, holiness is humble acceptance of who we are, trusting that God works even through our flaws. This acceptance helps us see our unique gifts, the particular graces God has entrusted to us for service. When we live from our strengths rather than fear or comparison, our vocation becomes joyful again. Fourthly, a healthy balance of prayer and activity. For St. Francis de Sales, prayer and ministry are not two separate worlds, they nourish each other. Prayer gives energy to our apostolate. Ministry deepens our prayer by grounding it in real life. Salesian spirituality calls us to prioritize prayer, even in busy schedules, and to find God in all things, in people, responsibilities, nature, and unexpected interruptions. When prayer becomes the anchor, activity becomes fruitful instead of exhausting. Fifthly, the gift of spiritual accompaniment. St. Francis de Sales deeply valued spiritual direction. He knew that no one walks the spiritual journey alone. A spiritual mentor offers clarity during confusion, encouragement during discouragement, wisdom when making decisions. Seeking guidance does not mean weakness, it means maturity. The third point for reflection today, practical steps for re energizing your vocation. Salesian ideals are beautiful, but they must become concrete. Here are simple, realistic steps toward renewal. First of all, re evaluate your priorities. Take a step back and honestly assess how you are spending your time and energy. Are you prioritizing the things that truly matter, such as prayer, community, and service? Identify areas where you may be overextended or misdirected and make adjustments accordingly. Secondly, reconnect with your initial motivation. Spend time reflecting on what initially drew you to religious life. What were your hopes, dreams, and aspirations? Reconnecting with these initial motivations can rekindle your passion and sense of purpose. Thirdly, embrace new challenges. Seek out new opportunities for growth and service, whether within your existing ministry or in a new area of interest. Stepping outside of your comfort zone can revitalize your vocation and bring fresh perspective. Fourthly, deepen your prayer life. Experiment with different forms of prayer, such as centering prayer, lectio divina, or contemplative prayer. Find a practice that resonates with you and commit to it on a regular basis. Fifthly, nurture meaningful relationships. Invest time and energy in building strong, supportive relationships with other members of your community, as well as with family and friends. Sharing your joys and struggles with others can provide comfort, encouragement, and a sense of belonging. Sixthly, practice self care. Take care of your physical, emotional, and spiritual well being. Make time for exercise, healthy eating, relaxation, and activities that bring you joy. Seventh, seek forgiveness and reconciliation. If there are unresolved conflicts or strained relationships in your life, take the initiative to seek forgiveness and reconciliation. Releasing resentment and bitterness can free you from emotional burdens and allow you to move forward with renewed energy. Eighth, Find a spiritual mentor. Seek out someone who can provide guidance and support on your spiritual journey. It may be a spiritual director, a trusted member of your community, or a wise friend. To conclude, begin again today. My dear friends, renewal is not a dramatic event. It is a gentle, daily decision, a fresh start offered by God every morning. By embracing Salesian principles, love, gentleness, little virtues, self-knowledge, balance, and wise guidance, we discover that our vocation can be renewed from within. May the spirit of St. Francis de Sales inspire us to live each day with revived passion, deeper joy, and a heart full of God's gentle love. Every day is a new beginning. Today, let us begin again. Live Jesus.